if Gregg Wallace said something that offended her, why in the name of God didn't she just turn around and say, shut the F up, baldy? But we're in this country where everyone's getting offended, God almighty. Charlie Lawson, I was absolutely horrified by the fact that the BBC decided for about 2 weeks last year, and actually not just the BBC, most of the mainstream media, Woke ITV, Sly News, that the biggest story in the world, not just the country, the biggest story in the world was the fact that Gregg Wallace, the host of MasterChef, or at least he was the host of MasterChef, the now suspended host of MasterChef, had made some inappropriate off-color jokes, maybe being a little bit old-fashioned, but all of a sudden he was being presented as if he was the new Jimmy Savile, which I think was a completely dishonest representation. Now, you actually got in some real trouble for this, Charlie, in the woke media, because you were asked to speak about Gregg Wallace, and you said, listen, I've been asked several times, so I'm just going to answer. Oh God, we're living in this world where I'm effing offended. That's upset me. Kirsty Wark, she's a top journalist, top bird, great at her job. But if Gregg Wallace said something that offended her, why in the name of God didn't she just turn around and say, shut the F up, baldy? But we're in this country where everyone's getting offended, God almighty. And you know what? They might criticize you for that, Charlie, but I say absolutely. Because we cannot be cancelling people based on offence archaeology for a joke they may have told 20 years ago. I mean, I know what it was like in newspaper newsrooms 20 years ago, Charlie. People said crazy things. I'm sure there was lots of comments that went on in Coronation Street 20 years ago that would probably get people cancelled now. But what was this about, and were you shocked by the backlash that you received for simply, I think, stating some common sense?
Well, first of all, if you'd been in the green room at Granada TV in the 90s with Sarah Lancashire, me, Phil Middlemas, Eva Pope, all the girls, Annie Kirkbride was one of the worst, Julie Goodyear, all the rest of it, we would all have been fired. It was the dirtiest, rudest, most politically incorrect place I've ever served my 44 years in the business. That's just a fact of life.
But nowadays, I love that. I wish I had been there.
It was brilliant. Listen, I have heard, about Gregg over the years, and he wouldn't be the best at telling a joke or making a crack or whatever. However, it never bothered me. I I was asked about it, and like you've just said, I mean, I'm surprised Kirsty didn't bloody slap him or whatever. But this offence has now become something that is taken if you look cross-eyed at someone. I mean, it's just, thank God we've still got Northern Ireland in places, because it doesn't exist over there. So it doesn't, you give as good as you get. But I mean, look, Dan, you tell me. I was unaware. I mean, I got a few tweets from people sort of saying, you can't say that, Charlie. And I said, why in the name of God not? I respect Kirsty Wark. I think she's a great journalist, and why in the name of God didn't she turn around and say, wait, baldy, blah, 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 or whatever? I mean, I just think, I kind of think to myself, what are we going to hear about now? I mean, I'm sure somebody out there, probably not watching this, but there'll be somebody out there who'll say some Charlie Lawson said this about 35 years ago, you know what I mean? And I'll probably be in trouble for something of it, because I've said a lot of stuff over the years. But it's a sad reflection, I think, of the world we live in. And listen, don't get me wrong, right? If Gregg had said something to a friend of mine who was on there, and I thought it was out of order, I'd have got him around the back of the set and said, you apologize to that girl now, or I'm going to slap your ass, son. You know what I mean? But
yes, but deal with it that way. Exactly. Deal with it at the time. Because the other thing I think that we risk, Charlie, is that we start to undermine what are serious crimes. And I'm very concerned now, and what I went through myself with the attempt to cancel me. And maybe some people would say it was successful, although here I am. But what I find so disturbing is that the goal when people are going through a cancellation crisis is just to make everyone think that they are the same as Jimmy Savile. There's no sense of perspective whatsoever. And it's like, I'm sorry, we have to treat genuine sexual criminals, genuine serial rapists, genuine pedophiles like Jimmy Savile, like Rolf Harris, like Hugh Edwards, in a very different way to a working class lad done good like Gregg Wallace, who might make some really inappropriate wisecracks at times. But there is no sense of perspective, Charlie, just like there was no sense of perspective in the coverage of my situation with Lawrence Fox.
No, and I mean, most of the people I've talked about in the industry are all yawning about Greg and say, "Oh, for God's sake, catch yourself on." You know what I mean? And people who have complained, and I would look. I'm sure there are some civilians, if you like, who have done MasterChef, have been offended, I would say, and upset. And I would hope that they've received an apology. I really don't have any time for people who are celebrities, so to speak, not being able to stand up for themselves. Come on, for Christ's sake, get a grip. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And I wouldn't want to be known anyway. I wouldn't be wanting to broadcast that I felt offended by someone in the first place. I mean, why would you want anybody to know? Just take action yourself and sort it out.
But first, we've been told our whole lives that wrinkle creams were the easiest way to look younger. Now, one doctor says that's nothing but old news. According to Dr. John Lake, the world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, most wrinkle fixes on the market are nothing but glorified moisturizers. They hardly make a dent on your appearance, and some can even be harmful to your skin, he said. Recently, Dr. Lake has focused his attention away from mainstream cosmetic practices. Why? So that he can pursue a revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough, one that some experts say could empty the wallets of the cosmetic industry. It's almost like Photoshop for your face, he says. You may even be mad after seeing how easy it is to physically erase your wrinkles from view. His personal clients have dubbed his new do-it-yourself technique the age rewinder method because it can take years or even decades off your appearance in under 2 minutes. In light of this amazing breakthrough, Dr. Lake has released a step-by-step video to the public, free and uninterrupted, where he outlines exactly how to use this simple solution from home. If this helps even one person look younger or feel more confident, I'll be thrilled knowing I helped, Dr. Lake commented. The video has since gone viral. At first, it was shared by users on Facebook, but since then, it's racked up over 2.3 million views and counting. So far, the comments and feedback have been outstanding, with thousands of women reporting they look decades younger. One viewer even commented, "Best results of anything I've used. I can't believe how well this works. I'll never stop using this. I don't understand how it works, but the results are great. Thank you." So you can find out much more about this yourself right now. Go to bhmd1.com/outspoken, or it's probably much easier to just click on the link in the description box below. I will repeat the address for you now though, www.bhmd1.com/outspoken. Now, there is one thing Dr. Lake asks from his viewers. If watching this video helps you look and feel younger than you have in years, then please share this video with your friends and loved ones. Together, we have the power to help as many women reclaim a youthful look as possible. So go watch the video at bhmd1.com/outspoken right now, or just click on the link in the description box below. But now, back to the show. But this is a much bigger point, though, I think, Charlie, and I think it, unfortunately, is part of the infiltration of the woke mind virus, which is that a lot of people in 2025 believe that they should never be offended. Whereas I would argue, actually, offense is a really important part of society. And the
growing
fact
up.
that and the fact that you are offended by something doesn't mean that that person should be cancelled, that that TV show should be taken off air, that you should, cast some great protest about it. Just switch it off. And I think offence archaeology in particular is something that I find so despicable, because people are now, there's almost like a witch hunt against people who get into the public eye. And we see this even in the political realm, Charlie, and this really concerns me. And actually, I want to ask about your political ambitions in just one moment, but this concerns me too, because we saw some really good, solid candidates before the last election, for example, who were running for Reform UK. But because they had posted something on what was then their Twitter account, say in 2012, they were then removed. Now, some people would say you can't blame Reform UK and Nigel Farage for doing that, because it's all about how the mainstream media would react to those posts. But I also feel we have to live in a society where actually sometimes you can say something, maybe you said something years ago, maybe you disagree with it now, but actually the drive for cancellation is sometimes so almost like hysterical. It takes over people and organizations.
And listen, you'll be aware of this now. I don't know Anne Whittingham at all, and I don't know what makes her tick. But I think she was speaking at the Oxford Unit.
Yes,
I saw something Oxford Debating Society, and she was brilliant on taking offence. Saying you cannot go through life worrying about being offended. Jesus Christ, Dan. If I took offence at everything that had been written about me, I'd have jumped out the bloody window by now. You know what I mean? It's just people are wallowing in being offended, and it really, really pisses me off. But I've been saying that to you for a number of years now. You know what I mean? I think the world's I think our children are being raised to by certain parents, not all parents, because I know loads around here and in other places. We're bringing up our children to be offended, and God Almighty, what would you have done in 1939?
Yeah, indeed. I mean, look, we're certainly not raising people, Charlie, are we, to deal with the threats that are coming, because trust me, they don't think in the same way in China or Russia.
Yeah.
And this wokery and this constant need to be offended is actually weakening our society, and I believe is actually part of the destruction of the West, which is much, much more important. But look, Charlie, finally, I just want to ask, have you considered entering politics? Because I know there'll be a lot of outspoken viewers at home thinking, this is the type of guy who we need as an MP. And why the hell not?
I got a message from someone about 3 or 4 months ago back home in Northern Ireland, asking me if I would consider running. It wasn't something I had considered, and the answer to your question is no, because because I don't think I'd have a prayer, because I'd have to form. I don't know what party I'd join, and I'd have to be an independent, I think, or something. And the only other independent I met over the years was Martin Bell, who was a great journalist, but I was never quite sure what he stood for, apart from his white suit. Bless him. But it has been asked several times, and I I think my maiden speech in the House of Commons would offend so many bloody people.
Are you allowed to swear? Are you?
I think I would be the first one to be ejected, and I just think it's funny,
Well, Charlie, you've been so well behaved today. I don't think you've sworn once.
I haven't. I'm
stunned.
I know, but I don't want to. I want to start off on the right foot and then see how it goes. And then next time I'm on.
Oh, well, Charlie, look, you've got to come back, because obviously today it's been so great to talk about your life, but I absolutely love it when we're just chewing the fat over some of the crazy news stories of the day. But look, this autobiography is absolutely brilliant. I really recommend that people read it. It is available on Amazon, right? That's where I
it's on Amazon. The audiobook will be out in February.
Are you reading it all?
Yeah, I read it all and wrote it all and all the rest. There's been no sort of ghostwriter involved or anything like that.
Gosh, how long did that take to record the audiobook?
5 days. It's a good listen. In answer to your question as well, you can order it from Waterstones or anywhere you like. I don't think it's on the shelves of many Waterstones at the moment because as we were talking before, but as in watching TV, reading books is a disappearing skill, believe it or not. And Waterstones have books on their shelves that have been there for years. So yeah, you can order it from every bookshop. It's in some bookshops, mostly independents, and it's a good read, folks.
It is. That's Life, So It Is, My Story by Charlie Lawson, a candid, raw memoir of a TV national treasure, available now from Amazon, and you can also get it instantly on a Kindle edition. I'm ashamed to say, Charlie, I'm now a Kindle guy. I know I used to loved the hard copy books, but now I order it on Kindle, which is
the case rests.
Yeah, but you can get that on Amazon because that's how I got it. So it is. I know for a fact it is available. I think it's hard. You can either get it hardcover or on the Kindle edition.
Yeah, it'll be hardcover, and then they'll do the softback in the spring, I think, probably.
Amazing.
Later on this year, anyway, in 25.
Well, Charlie, it has been so good to be reunited. You were one of those guests that a lot of people, because, I've had a lot of people on from my GB News days, and I've had lots of requests for you to come on. So I thought this was the perfect way to do it. But we'll have to do it with the news next time you're back.
We'll do the adult version next time.
Yes, exactly. And there's so much to get you annoyed about. I'm pretty sure we'll be having to pull out that swear jar. But Charlie Lawson, Happy New Year to you. So brilliant to have you. That's Life, So It Is, available now. And of course, thank you so much, Charlie. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.